Jiffy attentively follows Richard down an enclosed staircase. Congratulations, Jiffy's Razors, Alan, Mary Lynn, and Bonnie Harvey, and Kayla Wallenberger. Here we see Sandra and her black lab, Val, walking through a crosswalk. As Sandra steps off the curb, Val confidently leads her into the street. Here the new team maneuvers through a hallway full of many corners and recesses. From up ahead, we see Sandra and Val coming towards us, working together on a village street. With bushes and fencing on one side and parked cars on the other, Val leads Sandra down a sidewalk. Congratulations, Val's Razors, the Pios family, and Esprenay Hands.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to January 2018 graduation. I'd like to start by announcing the graduates come into the room. Please hold your applause to the end, as I will let you know when we can start when they're all settled. Mushad Khalif Corley with Guide Dog Fitz from Brooklyn, New York. Lots of smells in here. The dogs are like, who are all these people? It was empty this morning. Trey Lewis with Guide Dog Shatner from Tulsa, Oklahoma. John Stuber with Guide Dog Thor from Winchester, Kentucky. Pam Citron with Guide Dog Allie from Norwalk, Connecticut. It's okay. Again, remember, all these new people, we've been practicing with an empty room. Shelby Kapler with Guide Dog Olana from Laramie, Wyoming. Susie Altaffer with Guide Dog Dottie from Alameda, California. And Ashley Garrett with Guide Dog Addie from Palm Desert, California. There's kids in the front, that's really hard to get by. Welcome to January 2018 graduating class. I'd like to start off today with introducing our President and CEO, Thomas Panic.
Very nice. nice. Sit. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Guiding Eyes for the Blind. It's a beautiful day outside, sunny. Tomorrow's going to be rainy, so enjoy it while we have it. I'd like to say a couple of words today because for those of you who are joining us for the first time, you'll see the incredible results of our program. But it's a lot of hard work and dedication from our donors, our supporters, our raisers, our volunteers, and our staff that makes today possible. So in many ways, today is a celebration, and in many ways, today is the beginning of a new chapter for our graduates with their new guide dog. So I'd like to touch on all of those things today, but let me first start by saying a big thank you to our supporters. It would not be possible to have our team train these wonderful dogs without donors making contributions in support of our mission, which is, simply put, to provide guide dogs to people with vision loss. And in that short statement, there's a lot that needs to be done to get to the stage here today. But it begins with a donation. And I'd like to first thank Nancy Kern. Could you please stand up, Nancy, for sponsoring today's graduation? Nancy has sponsored graduation before and also, I believe, had a release dog from us, Quali, right? Did I get that right? So sweet lab, so she knows what our dogs are all about, and we appreciate her sponsorship today. We also would like to thank the family of Alice Matthias and their very generous bequest that they left to Guiding Eyes for the Blind in honor of Allie, who's graduating today with Pam. And just by way of a brief story, Melinda and Bill Walsh are here today. Melinda and Bill, can you please stand up for a round of applause? Melinda is Alice's daughter and raised puppies in cooperation with Puppies Behind Bars. Guiding Eyes to the Blind used to raise puppies through Puppies Behind Bars previously and was a socializer and really got to know us through that and brought puppies over to Mom's house, right, where she got to know the Guiding Eyes dogs. And this incredible bequest allowed us to be able to sponsor the full team from the beginning of training through the support for Allie and Pam. So it's a very generous gift, and we're just so grateful to have Alice's Spirit and Allie as they move forward with their life adventures. So thank you so much. And also, I know Peter wasn't able to be here today, but please, Melinda, extend our thanks to him as well. Now, this class is pretty unique because while we have spent the past 3 weeks together, enjoying the facilities here and getting to know our dogs from the very beginnings when the dog was introduced first their names in this room 3 weeks ago, right, graduates? To get to this point, it's been a long journey. But at the same time, as you've been training here with your dogs, we have had 8 guide dogs through Guiding Eyes in our home training program. And that is actually, I believe, Kathy, correct me if I'm wrong here, the most that we've ever trained in home in 1 month. So that's a really incredible accomplishment for all of those home trainers and instructors that go home and spend those couple of weeks with the graduates in their home facility. I'd like to thank those instructors and give them a warm round of applause. Now, through the miracles of modern technology, we have a reporter on the scene, I believe. Let's see if we can get him up on the screen here, Greg. Do you mind? He's there. Mike, can you hear us? Mike, you can hear us, but we can't hear you yet. There we go. I heard something.
It's your reporter on the street, Tom.
Mike Gehring is out, and where might we find you today with Dick Palmo? Dick, how are you?
Hi, Tom. Doing great. And here's sunny Arizona.
Sunny Arizona. Well, it's still cold here in New York. Not bitter cold like it's been, but we're not doing too bad. And Dick, how's the golf game doing? For those of you who don't know Dick, he is one of our masters of blind golf who comes every year to the Corcoran Cup with the United States Association of Blind Golfers. And you are graduating today with Jiffy. How's it been going? And by the way, how is... how, what happened? Greg popped up. Are we back to Dick? We're back to Dick. How's it been going with Jiffy, Dick?
Tom, she's wonderful. The home training program, 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago, I sat in those seats with my first guide dog, Tanya. And here we fast forward 10 years, and after having the 10 days of home training with Megan Baker, I learned a lot of things that in 10 years I needed to relearn.
Mm-hmm. And how's Tanya doing? How are they getting along? You know, I hear Tanya is retiring happily.
She is. From a student standpoint, one of the hardest things is going from your first guide dog to your second. And I had a lot of trouble with that. I had trouble even when I spoke about it, tearing up. I had no concept of one of the greatest therapies was when the new dog came into your life. It probably took her a half hour to worm her way into my heart.
Well, listen, Dick, we're really happy for you. I hope that we get to see you during the next golf championship in the summertime, and that you're swinging away on your practice, and that all is well. And Mike, thank you so much for following up on the work that Megan did to put Jiffy in Dick's hand. Sounds like a wonderful partnership. And I did hear that Tanya beat Jiffy out the door despite her age the first time you were going to let him out. Is that true, Dick?
You know it is, and she's kind of revitalized Tanya, because Tanya, when I walk around the house, I feel like the Pied Piper. My wife says I got two dogs. And the greatest feeling in the world is say, okay, girls, it's time to eat. Okay, girls, it's time to go potty. And then, okay, girls, let's go to bed.
Thank you so much, Mike and Dick. A round of applause for both of them. I would next like to invite a board member, a member of our board of directors of Guiding Eyes to the Blind. Board members volunteer their time, and oftentimes they volunteer their time and give their treasure in donations in support of Guiding Eyes. And Eduardo Andrade will be speaking to you briefly about a wonderful opportunity that his group had to sponsor one of our graduates today. So Eduardo, please come up and say a few words.
So Eduardo Andrade, a relatively new member of the Board of Trustees, but I also come from Priceline, from Priceline.com, and that's my day job. Although I will say that this is sort of my love, serving this organization. So we had the honor of having a dog named in this sort of cycle. So we chose Shatner, of course, and if you know anything about Priceline.com. And then what was great, of course, Shatner made it through raising with great raising with Allison, with Alyssa and Shannon, who are here today, of course, and then got paired with Trey. And a little story was that we had Priceline's headquarters isn't too far from here, about 45 minutes, and we invited Trey and Shatner to come to our town hall meeting, our all-employee meeting, and everyone got to see Trey and Shatner, and just from all of us. So what I would say to you, Trey, is you have 600 Priceline.com employees who are so fully in your corner, and frankly, to all the graduates, just congratulations today to all the clients. Congratulations to the dogs, and then just a heartfelt thank you to all of the raisers, the supporters, the staff, without whom, of course, this cannot be possible. And so just on behalf of the board, just a deep thank you to you all for everything you do, and then just nothing but success and freedom and hopefully travel coming from Priceline for for you graduates and dogs. So thank you.
Yes, it. Good boy. And finally, I'd like to just say a couple of words about our instructors. This class has been led by Shannon. And, you know, as I get here, I sort of have the easy job because in the morning when I come in, they're already here working, already training our dogs well prior to class coming in and staying throughout the late evening, overnight, to be with the students and be able to help them be successful. It's an incredible amount of work and dedication. I know it starts in our puppy center and goes throughout the entire organization. But today I would just like to say that I've had a chance to observe Shannon and her work more closely this class. I joined the class right for coffee a couple weeks ago, and just to see how that process all works. And as a guide dog user myself, I can't tell you how incredibly important and memorable it is of who your instructors are, because they touch you profoundly as you get this dog. So please help me in warmly thanking Shannon and her team for the work hard done. Thanks, Shannon. Thank you. Finally, I'd like to welcome Kathy Zubricki, our Vice President of Training Programs, to the podium to say a few words to the Raisers. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom, and welcome everyone to this very happy occasion. What we are at Guiding Eyes are able to achieve is because others have helped, and I would like to thank a very special group of people who helped this day become a reality, and that's our puppy raisers. I'd like to ask all our puppy raisers to please stand up. It's so wonderful to see you all here today, and thank you for, by opening your hearts and your homes to a Guiding Eyes for the Blind puppy, you've given a wonderful gift. And in case you're wondering just how impactful your gift is, I'd like to share some comments from other graduates. My fear of getting lost is a distant memory. I am no longer afraid of that hole in the sidewalk or that carelessly placed bicycle. My family is no longer afraid when I go out alone. And the common thread through all that is, I'm no longer afraid. And that's the gift that you give, freedom from fear. And that's an amazing gift, and we are deeply indebted to all of you. So thank you once again. As Tom was mentioning about the team, one of the most important elements to any successful class is teamwork, the ability to work together toward a common good. From the day the instructors begin training their dogs to class placement, teamwork on a day-to-day basis is the foundation upon which everything else is built. From the seemingly insignificant traffic on the Taconic is at a standstill, let's find another way, to the weather tomorrow is promising to be very bad, let's change our plans and see what else we can do, to Thor and John will be running with Nick today, so let's make sure they're available when Nick arrives. And it goes on. Shannon, Lori, Kara, Mary Beth, and Catherine, you've set a pretty high bar on what it means to work together towards a common good for your students and their dogs. Shannon, you said something yesterday, just in passing, but was, I know, very meaningful to me. We were in the lobby watching the activities with the instructors and their dogs, and people were laughing and having fun and just enjoying themselves. And you said, I know I've done my job well, when on the last day of class, everyone's laughing and having fun. And that's so true. And I would like to thank all of you for doing such a wonderful job in making this class so successful. And graduates, congratulations on achieving your goal of partnering with a Guiding Eyes for the Blind guide dog. It takes a lot of courage not only to make the decision to train with a dog, but then to step into the unknown and follow through on that decision. And yet here you are, ready for your next step, and that is to return home and begin your new life and many new adventures with your new guide dog. So on behalf of the entire Guiding Eye staff here at Yorktown, Patterson, as well as all our remote staff, congratulations, and we wish you every continued success. And I'd like to thank all of you for sharing in this day with us today. Please do enjoy the rest of the program. Thank you.
So we have a couple presentations to start, but I do have to say that when I said yesterday, I know I've done my job because we've had some fun, I think this class might have taken it a little to the next level. And part of my later speech was some pranks that this class actually pulled on me with the help of the instructors. And I came in one morning to find Post-its all over my room that so-and-so was here. Let's see, Crafty Ashley was here. Khalif was here, John was here, Priceline Trey was here. Even Susie and Pam, they all made it into my room on this giant prank. So we've had a very good time this class. So hopefully, I'm a little nervous about the next speakers. You never know what they're going to say about us. But I'd like to introduce Mashad Khalif Corley as our first graduate speaker. If he can wake his dog up. Was that so typical?
Took a nap.
Yeah, I know. You're good. Right here, to your right a little bit. You're welcome.
Good afternoon, everybody. My dog went to sleep. Well, thank you for coming. My name is Mashad Corley. I am from Brooklyn. I am a returning graduate from 10 years ago. Little bit different, but almost similar, but I still learn a lot of things from my instructor and the other instructors and other people giving a feedback of positive or negative. I learned a lot. When I go, I'm going to miss a lot of people here. I'm from Brooklyn. Everybody's so far, far, far away. But there's always a telephone. Kara, she's my instructor that worked with me a lot with Fitz. She's really terrific. She taught me a lot. She showed me a lot of things to forward my training and being better, being a guide dog handler. That's great. Thanks, Kara. And then Lori, she's cool. Lori's cool. She used to call me Khalid, then at the end she called me sir. I don't know where that came from, but I don't know. And then we have Catherine. She's cool. She came here being a blindfold. She didn't know what to expect. A blind person teaching a sighted person blindfolded. That's funny. And then we have Mary Beth. Mary Beth she's an IA. She is somebody in training, and I think that between her and Catherine will do a very awesome job of being an instructor in the years to come. They're very terrific. And we got Shannon. We got Shannon Walsh, right? Let's see. This is how it went. When I first got here, I was really, really, really sick. And nobody heard me but the nurse. Thank you, Mariana. So I did my training. Shannon said, but you got to do it. You got to do it, right? So, okay. So I went through my days really sick, still training, still hanging on. In the back of my mind, I was saying, I hope Shannon let me stay in the room. But that didn't happen. It only happened a couple days ago. And then I hurt my knee. There was a lot of things I was going on with, but you know what? I didn't want to give up, and I want to be among my classmates that I met. All my classmates, they are really cool. I'm gonna miss them when I leave. And hopefully, I developed some close friendships with my uh classmates. Um, I ain't gonna try to get emotional because anyway. Uh, but I feel very glad that I am here, and thank you for God and Nas for having me back here again over 10 years ago. I really appreciate it. I will continue on living on the God and Nas name in Brooklyn. Uh, Thank you, everybody. Oh, thank you for my family for coming here. Uh, my family, my sister, my fiance, my daughter, and my brother-in-law over there somewhere. Uh, uh, okay, I like to get everybody. Like, the kitchen staff is awesome. Like, they gave us really good food, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you wanted extra snacks, they gave you extra snacks. Cause I was home, I can't get extra snacks. So I took advantage of the opportunity. Okay, but anyway, thank you. I really appreciate it. And next is my good friend John is gonna come speak after me. Thank you.
Although Khalif did introduce him, I will make it official. Our next graduate speaker is John Stuber.
Well, good afternoon, and my name is John from Winchester, Kentucky, and you could tell I'm the youngest one of the group. As my classmate Khalid here said, I really do want to appreciate the Guiding Eyes for the hospitality we had. It's been unbelievable. First time I've actually been away from my family for this time, and actually can say that I've never been homesick the whole time. So I really do heartfelt thanks and that kind of stuff. And as Khalif said, that we basically all of us has became really good friends. I mean, they know that anytime they needed me, I'd be there for them. I mean, it's just awesome how it just take the time here that we all know each other. Now we got each other's cell phone numbers. So now we can blow each other's phone up now. But we all came from different parts of the country here that Khalif and Susie has been with guide dogs before, but the rest of us has never had guide dogs before. And the anticipation when we first got here, they being anxious and not knowing what we're going to do, that the staff that we had here with Sergeant Shannon and Kara, Lori, Catherine, and Mary Beth, is that it's been pleasant. I mean, and the first person I ran into was Mary Beth at the airport, and I was just coming through there, and she's like, "Oh, you're John." So, and we sat in the airport there waiting for another ride, and she was very pleasant, and it was great knowing her and that kind of stuff. Then actually meeting Lori for the first time, and learning to that I get ahead of myself. I'm a thinker and that stuff. And Lori's famous thing was, week 2, John, week 3, John. So technically I had to learn that real quick, but the week one was really interesting, where we get in Monday morning, 6 a.m., we hear music. And then we hear this, the first day was really Monday. That first day was that we had to get up, get dressed, and meet down in the alumni hall because we had to have obedience class. And yes, at home on YouTube, I said obedience, and no, wife, I'm not going after your slippers and your... But Oh, I'm gonna shout out to my granddaughter. It's her 11th birthday today. She's watching me. Happy birthday, sweetheart. But as we were told, we had to wait on our friend on Wednesday, and it just it was really build up to it. And when they did announce our names, the names of the pups to us and that stuff, and it was just so awesome to know that I've got the God of Thunder for my dog, and Thor's he's an awesome pup. They're all awesome, but I got to be a little biased because I've got the only shepherd in here. So, just the first week was really where they calmed us down. It really got us to know what we had to do. Then introduce our dogs, where we really got to spend time with them and started learning commands. And then week 2 is where we actually we started going to the big city, where we learned traffic checks and then commands and corners and stuff, and drilling it into our heads that now I've got so many commands now I forgot my grandkids' names, so I'm just going to say left, right, forward. So it really did, and Lori said the same, and Carrie even said it too, that by the time we get done, we'll have everything will be so in our bed in our heads it's impossible, and it really is. Plus, I learned a new command the other day, which I'll get to that part too, that I will never say that ever again. But I also got to meet Nick, and Nick couldn't be here today, and Nick is a retired NYPD, and I really thank you for his service on that. And he was with the running guide, and him and I went out and did some running, and I found out that there's no way you're going to wear Nick down. I mean, I was exhausted, but learning how to jog and to run with Thor and that stuff, and have him ready for me and on him and I's adventure afterwards, which we come down to week 3, which basically started being more independent, and they helped us where we needed correcting and going up escalators and elevators and stuff like that, and it was in pulling little pranks on Shannon. It was really worth it. I'm telling you right now. I never laughed so hard in my life that night, and she still better not look underneath her bed. It's really bittersweet knowing today's our last day and then we're going home tomorrow. That the bonding we had that with this Catherine and Shannon and Kara and Lori and Mary Beth, that it's but the great thing I know about is that they'll always be there for us wherever we need them. That, in matter of fact, with meeting Becky and everybody and Tom and everything, I mean, if we ever have a problem, it's no problem to give them a call, email, anything else. And I think that's so outstanding that we're not out there alone. They just don't throw us out the door and just hope we don't go over a cliff, But to me, it was really been a blessing, and I speak for my classmates. We're really glad to become part of the Guiding Eyes family. It's really an honor. And one other thing I've got to do, we had a special lady with us, and she was injured on the second week. We really miss Lydia. We really do miss you, and I know you're watching, and I hope you for a speedy recovery. And I know you'll be back, and hopefully someday we'll all have a big get-together or something like that. So, in conclusion, since I have the only shepherd in the whole group of sea of labs, I want to present this #Shepherd's Rule. Thank you very much for all coming out, and God bless you, and hope you have a great day.
Oh, this class. I could say so much, but I'll hold my tongue for now. I'd like to start our next presentation, and that is to the puppy raisers, and I'd like to introduce Bethany Reinhardt, Regional Manager of the Puppy Program.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the Guiding Eyes for the Blind Canine Development Center, I would like to extend our sincere and heartfelt congratulations to the January 2018 graduating class. It's truly an honor and a privilege to be here to share this day with each and every one of you. To start, I would like to thank our team of over 1,400 dedicated volunteers, our generous donors, and our dedicated staff who all play an important part of the journey of a Guiding Eyes puppy. From broodstead foster families, early socializers, home litter care providers, puppy sitters, our regional coordinators, kennel and administrative volunteers, both here in Yorktown and in Patterson, tour leaders, and ambassadors. And finally, I want to thank our puppy raisers, who are near and dear to my heart because I work with a great group of people every week. You guys have given the ultimate gift of taking in a puppy, loving it, training it, getting up in the middle of the night with it, house training it, and then you give them up to go on to change someone's life. So if you are a volunteer for Guiding Eyes and any of the things that I just mentioned, I'd like to ask you to stand. And let's give them a warm welcome. And now I would like to present to our puppy raising families their certificate and photo of the dog that you've raised. I'd like to ask one member from each puppy raising family to please come up to receive your certificate and photo. So, to start, we have Guiding Eyes for the Blind Addie, who was raised by Sarah Kate Hill in the Eastern Massachusetts puppy raising region. Sometimes our pups have multiple raisers, so Addie was also raised by Carol Buchanan from the New Hampshire region. She was not able to be here today. Guiding Eyes Allie was co-raised. Her first co-raiser was Diane M. Goditis from the Cleveland West region. And Allie was also raised by Maureen Dinner from the Cleveland West region. Guiding Eyes Dottie was raised by the William B. Rector III family from Richmond, Virginia. Guiding Eyes Fitz was raised by Susan and Roger Lahamadou from the Cleveland East region. They were not able to be here today because I heard they are vacationing in Florida. Guiding Eyes Olana was raised by Sierra Bloomer from the Eastern Connecticut region. Olana was also raised by Katie LeBlue from the Eastern Connecticut region, and both Sierra and Katie are current students at the University of Rhode Island. Guiding Eyes Shatner was raised by Alyssa Cornelius in the Finger Lakes, New York region. Shatner was also raised by Shannon Reddy in the Finger Lakes, New York region, and both Alyssa and Shannon are current students at Cornell University, and Alyssa just passed her boards for vet school. Guiding Eyes Thor was raised by David and Julie Albany from the Richmond, Virginia region. And from our home training department, we have Guiding Eyes CC, raised by Carlisle Wilderman in the Eastern Connecticut region. She was not able to be here today. Guiding Eyes Clyde, raised by Courtney Miller in Erie, New York. Guiding Eyes Eden, raised by Kaylin Harrow and Eric Mitchell in the Finger Lakes, New York region. They were not able to be here today. Guiding Eyes Herman, raised by Elizabeth M. Dunn in the Cleveland East region. Guiding Eyes Irwin, raised by Sharon Kane from the Dominion, Virginia region. Guiding Eyes Jiffy was raised by Alan, Marilyn, and Bonnie Harvey of the Virginia Beach, Virginia region. Also raising Guiding Eyes Jiffy, we have Kayla Wollenweber from the Virginia Beach, Virginia region. Guiding Eyes Pete was raised by Emily Odiampo from Monroe, New York. And last, we have Guiding Eyes Val, who was raised by the Pios family in Central New York, and also Cheryl Renee Hans from the Bay region. So, from small beginnings come great things. I would like to introduce you to Marco, Maple, and Malta, who are all future guide dog puppies. And these three little guys, I believe one of them is already spoken for, but the other two are in need of puppy raisers. So if you are interested, come see me at the end of graduation. And these guys will be available for what we like to call podographs at the end of graduation if you go down to our canine salon. So go out to the hallway and turn left, and I'm sure you will hear the puppies down there. All right, you guys can go. And in closing, I would like to leave you with a quote by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you, Bethany, and thank you all to all the puppy raisers. Without you, we couldn't do what we do. And if Devin and Ethan, my two kids, are up here, no puppies. They're not coming home with us. So I don't know where to start, but it's now our turn for the graduates and my instructors and our team that we worked so hard together this month. So let me start off first by introducing our instructors. And if you would, when I say your names, please stand up. Lori Busey, qualified instructor. Kara Ebling, qualified instructor. Catherine Russell, if you would stand up. Catherine, I'm just going to pause here for a second, did a pretty amazing thing this month and what's part of our apprenticeship program. So she just became an apprentice, and part of our apprenticeship program is going under blindfold in a class. For her, she did 7 days. She did 7 days, 24/7 under blindfold. She came in on the first day with our students and was treated as a student. She got a room. She went through all the same paces as our students, Juno work, sitting around and hurrying up and waiting for us. And then we paired her with a dog, and she went through the next 4 or 5 days of training with our students. And then when she was done, she became part of the instructor staff and worked with us. It's not an easy thing to do, 24/7 for 7 days. But you had a great group of teachers within class to help you, because I know you got a lot of help from our classmates. And I want to congratulate you and wish you luck on your first class in March. Congratulations. All right, Mary Beth is our instructor assistant. Don't sit down yet. So during my closing remarks, I'm going to mention a tour later. This is your tour guide. Remember her, because she will be taking you on a tour of the kennel later if you so choose. Without Mary Beth, we wouldn't have been able to do what we did. And I have to say, Kara and Lori will both agree with me that Mary Beth was 5 steps ahead of us constantly. And the days like other supervisors have said about their IAs. The days that Mary Beth wasn't there, who's doing it? Wait, are you? Who did it? Wait, Mary Beth isn't here. Who's pulling up the vans? Who's doing? So Mary Beth, without you, we wouldn't have gotten everything done, that's for sure. To Kara and Lori, you guys did an awesome job training some dogs. Kara and Lori, this was their first class together. We've recently had some partner switches. So it's a difficult road to change partners. You know when you're working on a team, a well-oiled team, and then someone says, that team's over, here's a new team member. These two started class together on the first day of class. So they've had to iron out how to work together, how to communicate, how to be a team. And they have at least a year or two left together. So hopefully they learned something this class to make the road a little less bumpy for the future. So, and I know they will. What'd you say?
New pranks.
New pranks. Yes, they were part of the pranks. I don't know. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anybody. So, to my graduates. So this group, I have to say, is from all over the country. We have California, Wyoming, Connecticut, Kentucky. I have to make sure I didn't miss anywhere. Brooklyn, New York, Oklahoma. So some of the people in this class have never experienced ice and snow and freezing cold. Susie. So it's been a very exciting class, and I think if I had one word for this class, it would be flexibility. Every day we would do something, these guys would get ready, and I'd say, nope, we're changing it. We're doing something else. And they giggle because it's so true. Right from 8 a.m. to 9 o'clock, I would change the whole day. But it all depended on the weather, and we've had torrential downpours, snow, 60-degree weather, and a mix in between. But through it all, everyone worked really hard. They all flourished as a class. We did lose one team member in the beginning for an injury, and Lydia was missed. And if I'm not mistaken, John talked to her at least every day. And some of you others out here, I know. So she's not forgotten, that's for sure. It is bittersweet for this class to end. I actually almost wished it was 4 weeks. Would you believe that? Because I felt like there was more to do. Even though they're ready, it wasn't about being ready. It was about spending time. In this class, with the instructors, even my family was very patient. My 2 kids are here, my husband and in-laws. I stayed away from home more nights than my kids wanted to, but it was because this class was amazing, and I wanted to spend the time with them and hang out, and sometimes I didn't want to go home. Sorry. But it was all worth it, and my kids understood. This class also was busy. And in the first weekend, because we had so few New Yorkers, just Khalif and us, we had to have pizza on the first weekend, which we usually don't do. We usually stick with the class routine, but we all had to have New York-style pizza the first weekend, and that started it off, and today we ended it with cannolis. I stopped at a local bakery and got us chips and dip, so we had cannolis for lunch. At the end of the, yeah, it was exciting for most of us. So this prank, I'm just going to touch on quickly. You may find something in your luggage when you get home. Or you may not. So this class took it upon themselves to prank me and make a video of looking like a security camera. And they all went in my room and did various little pranks, and each would run in with a different routine, and it was all based on some of my little isms that the class caught on to. And they poked a great deal of fun at me, and it was awesome. I have never felt so much, laughter, happiness, the camaraderie that the class came together with to do the prank on me. I know the laughs were huge, and the tears definitely flowed, and it was well worth it. And I want to say I've not slept here since that prank. Because I don't trust them. I've checked my sheets, I've checked the drawers, I've checked the toilet to make sure there's no cellophane over the toilet, because I don't trust them. But it was worth it. It was all in good fun. And as I said earlier, it was bittersweet. So to the graduates, I want to say thank you. You've earned this. You've worked so hard at getting here today. I know we've given you the tools to flourish at home. You will all do well and we are all just a phone call away. So congratulations to the class of January 2018. And before we hand you your diplomas, I have to acknowledge 8 more people that also worked very hard this month to work with their guide dog and their instructors out in our remote staff and are out in the field. So I'd like to acknowledge, and I know that we acknowledge the puppy raisers, now I'd like to acknowledge those graduates. Bernard Worry and Herman from Fredericksburg, Virginia, trained by Maureen Mellett. Joy Atkins Shark with guide dog Eden in Elizabeth, New Jersey, trained by Graham Buck. Lynette Churchill and Cece in Ontario, Canada, trained by Chrissy Vetrano. Michael Waters with guide dog Pete in Watertown, New York, trained by Susan Croha. Oliver Willis with guide dog Irwin in Seattle, Washington, trained by Dave Hagman. This name I want to pronounce correctly. Rania Dima with guide dog Clyde in Urbana, Maryland, trained by Jesse DiNapoli. Richard Pomo and Jiffy, who we saw earlier, Green Valley, Arizona, trained by Megan Baker. Sandra Furtado with guide dog Val in Fall River, Mass, trained by Megan Baker. So one of them she did in December and one in January. So she worked really hard the past 2 months. So congratulations to all our home trainings out in the field. And with that, the presentation to the graduates. If you could, I know it's difficult, but let's hold our applause to the end. Susie Altafter, guide dog Dottie. Oh, I just did it, and I told you to hold it. Can't even follow my own rules, Sergeant Shannon. Whew.
You've been around me too long.
Yeah, I have. Pam Citron and guide dog Allie. Just gives them something else to laugh at me for later. Trey Lewis with guide dog Shatner. How you start with? Khalif Corley with guide dog Fitz. John Stuber, guide dog Thor. Shelby Kapler, guide dog Olana. And Ashley Garrett with guide dog Addie. Congratulations to the class of 2018. Well, I'm also the closing remarks. So welcome to the Guiding Eyes family. Thank you guys for everything you've done. So a couple of things. Refreshments are upstairs in the dining room. All of you, that's where you started earlier today. The gift shop is open. Please feel free to go in and purchase lots of Guiding Eyes merchandise. Puppies are in the grooming room. If the directions were given earlier, down the hall, past the coffee room, to the farthest dorm hallway. You'll hear them crying, I'm sure. And at 3 p.m., would you stand up again? Mary Beth will be meeting right outside here in the Alumni Hall at 3 o'clock to take you on a tour of the kennel. There are no dogs allowed on the tour, so if you wish, as puppy raisers, friends, family, to escort any of our graduates with you on the tour, please do so. Before we all get up and rush the students, let me just caution people. If you could take a few minutes, please, let our graduates get themselves together, take their harnesses off their dogs. We're all excited. We want to see family. We want to say hi to our pups. But please just make sure you give a little space as they all get themselves together. Feel free to move about the building. You don't all have to stay here to greet with the graduates and their dogs. You can go into other parts of the building, the coffee room, upstairs in the dining room. And again, thank you all for everything you've done to help make this possible. Congratulations, class of 2018.
I'm sure the puppy raisers will be coming on.